it's our mistake that we only kind of mentioned about NUST or probably HEC as well. But now I think it's time that we highlight what the Ministry of Information is actually doing for all of those youngsters out there. So we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody from Ignite.
Yes.
What is Ignite is something we're going to let you know, but I think it's better that the person himself speaks about his own organization.
Let's
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been joined by somebody who's actually known by the name of Mr. Nadeem Nasir. He's the head outreach Ignite. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning to everyone. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you very much, Shiza and Shahzad. मैं सिर्फ इग्नाइट के बारे में थोड़ा सा ये बताऊंगा कि इग्नाइट का जो पर्पस
है. We'll have to do it in English. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the purpose of Ignite, the mission of Ignite is to create innovation value chain in Pakistan.
All right.
So with this, mission in mind, what we have certain flagship programs for the youth. Our first flagship program, what I would like to talk about in the beginning is the DigiSkills.pk.
Okay.
So this DigiSkills.pk prepares is preparing 1 million youth for the future of work.
Okay.
So we are training them in digital literacy, search engine optimization, creative writing, and then AutoCAD. So these are 10 programs that we are under which we are training them. So the idea is so that they can create they can be self-employed in the first phase, then they can create job opportunities for others, and then they can enter into an entrepreneurial phase whereby they can create a couple of hundreds of jobs, and then they can make their own company.
Okay, that makes perfect sense, because of course when you're talking about DigiSkills, that is of course the need of the hour, and when we're looking at the future, without this no one is going to prosper, be it their own businesses, be it their job of any kind. Yes. Now Ignite in collaboration, this is a perfect example of private and public partnership you already mentioned, right? Let's talk about how many incubation centers we already have, and how are we going about it, in what areas do we have them?
Okay, so Ignite has set up 5 incubation centers under the auspices of Ministry of IT and Telecom.
Okay, perfect.
So we have one in Islamabad, and then we have one in Peshawar, Lahore, Karachi, Quetta.
Okay.
So these are five incubators, right? So far 300 companies have been incubated, startups have been incubated into this, and 68 of them have been, graduated.
Oh, perfect.
So they have, generated 11,000 jobs so far, and over and above 900 million revenues they have generated, and 2.5 billion rupees investments have been committed with these companies.
That's great.
Well, it's just superb and amazing. But there's this one thing which I need to ask, and this is the same thing which my father says as well quite a lot of times. Because, I mentioned about, us being in university, and, most of the time we actually had projects where we needed quite a lot of money, to fulfill them, and we didn't have them. And whenever, because we were students, so we had to approach our parents, even our parents denied.
Yeah.
And I used to ask my father, why are you denying it? I mean, this is for something good. I'm not asking you for vacation money.
Right.
And he said that if I'm going to give you the money, you will probably end up spending and not investing it onto your business.
Yeah.
So whenever we talk about incubation centers, I think that seed money which is being awarded to people, isn't it very hard to keep a check and balance on that? Or do you think that this concept of seed money needs to exist?
Okay, now when we created our own model for our national incubation centers, what we decided, our board of directors, they decided that let's not pay anything to the incubators.
Yeah, you can thank me later.
Have them in a pressure cooker environment, give them world-class environment, mentorship, and world-class curriculum, training, and give them opportunities to showcase their business ideas to other investors. And this is how they grow, and then they tend to sell their companies, some of the shares of their companies to the
So can anybody walk in with a business idea, or is there a screening process? Is there a merit?
A criteria.
Or do you even put a little bit of research into someone's idea, whether it's going to be sustainable or not?
Okay, we have got independent judges, and a vast panel, right, who have got plenty of experience in the startups and entrepreneurial ecosystem. So they weigh, and when the pitches are made to these judges, this is how we incubate. Every incubator advertises on social media because that is the powerful medium for the youth. So they advertise on the social media, they ask for the applications, then the pitches are done, and one of the important thing I would like to mention here is that this year in their current cohort, we call it a cohort, over 1,000 applications have been received by NAC Islamabad.
Wow.
National Incubation Center
Islamabad alone?
Yeah,
Wow.
Islamabad, 1,000.
That's
so
nice.
see the level of awareness we have created and the kind of an ecosystem we have created in Pakistan, that everybody is now convinced that we got to create jobs rather than seeking the jobs. So the ideas are listened by the experts and the judges. Then they select, now out of these 1,000 applications for the cohort, we are going to only select 40 best ideas.
Oh.
So that would
40
come
out
on
of
to
1,000.
4%,
That's a
I
tough
would
competition,
say.
though.
Yeah, that's a very tough competition.
Yeah.
So promising ideas. So,
Not even four, I
but
think
there
it's
is no
0.4%.
Yeah,
Yep.
0.4%. So there is no, kind of limitation on the age. In NIC Quetta, we have incubated Dr. Saab, whose age is, 60 plus.
Wow.
Wow.
So no age
So really
restrictions.
the idea only.
What have you
It's the
incubated him
idea
for? Well, I mean,
Poultry
what is he
something,
doing?
right?
So he is an MBBS by profession,
Okay.
but now he is into the poultry startup.
Okay.
So what he says that actually a chicken should be hatched in 6 months' time. This 45 days chicken is very injurious to health. So he's going to create awareness about it, and he's going to create, awareness about
The entire
health.
process and
Yeah.
how old the chicken
Yeah.
actually needs to be before we
All
consume it.
right.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but-
and before we move on,
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
sorry. I mean, this
Go
is a
ahead.
little
It's
off
all
topic,
right.
but thank you so much for mentioning this idea because I think we already spoke about it before the show as well. But ladies and gentlemen, just lately I was in conversation with a panel of doctors, all ladies, and they were actually running out research on what the chicken, the regular chicken that we eat after 45 days of its growth, does to us. And they said that, ladies, it is found in Pakistan, 1 out of every 3 girls has developed polycystic ovary syndrome, which means it's not a normal thing. It's a condition that you've developed that is further going to create problems in your, let's say, later on life, of course. I mean, there's so many complications that I can't even probably name right now, or I don't even know of. Google it up, and please be sure of what you're eating in terms of chicken, especially, or just stick to vegetables. Just
Exactly, but there was a time in Pakistan when chicken was actually looked upon as a luxury. Not everybody could consume it, even mutton or beef too as well. We'll come back to this, but there's one more interesting question which I wanted to ask, and that is said that for all of the guests we've had on our shows, who've actually been running an incubation center, what they do is, so because we want it to be streamlined for our viewers, I mean for people who are actually will be sending in more emails, to get in touch with you, we just want them to be clear on how to plan for a business idea. I mean, whether to make something which is very useful, whether to make something which is going to bring a change in the society, whether to change the mindsets. So let's streamline these things so that people can actually think of a wonderful idea which is actually in line with the concept you guys have at Ignite and the NIC as well. So let's go on with that.
I think the most important thing is that you choose a problem that solves the local problem first.
Look for an opportunity.
Yeah, you choose a problem and then you bring up a solution that solves a local problem.
Yeah, okay. So the first the first problem is that, my wife doubts me a lot. I mean, do you have a solution for that? Do we have a solution for that? No, we do not. Well, we'll find out,
Yeah, of course. Artificial intelligence, chatbots, these are the solutions which technology
See,
is
these
bringing
problems
up.
are common. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
So that is the first thing. You develop a solution and then you test it in the market.
Yep.
Okay. You try to mature it, in-depth research, or then you go for the productization, whether it is a service or a handheld, kind of a
Product,
product. So all these phases are covered in our Nation Incubation Centers, where we have a curriculum for their business ideas, for their productization, marketing, and and soft skills especially. Because when you commit a thing, then deliver it.
Okay.
Right? So the timekeeping and to be the punctuality aspect. So all the soft skills we cover in our. So the international mentorship program we have, we invite people from foreign universities and foreign entrepreneurial experts. They come and share their business ideas and how their company grew at their time, what problems they faced, and how they resolved their problems. Right. So these are the values.
The basic values that one must know. And ladies and gentlemen, when we are talking about the 60+ businesses that have already graduated, you mentioned
68. Yeah.
60. Okay. So they are one of you. I mean, they were probably watching online someday.
Like us.
Exactly. And then they had an idea, and then you came, shared it with them, and it was successful. So you can really come up with it. And now I think to make it even easier for you, we should definitely share a success story from one of those ideas, so we know how it went or what sort of ideas really are welcome. Let's go ahead, sir.
Yeah. One of the amazing idea I would say is Fine Living Shabana Jamshed. She's a sister. They were 8 sisters. They are 8 sisters, and father was a driver.
Okay.
And she developed a low-cost, business initially, and now she has raised around $1 million from a venture fund.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So her model was just to go into the community and on that Chingchi, that which we have the rickshaws kind of a stand, and she would present glasses, water sets, bed sheets. What a laborer of earning 200 rupees a day, his family cannot afford. She tells us that in her times they won't have 6 cups of one kind. They could present a tea to her class fellows and kind of that environment. So she started off with this, and today she has her managers have started off the business, same kind of businesses in different areas of Lahore, and now she has raised such a big amount of money to scale up her business. And another example is that water filter that is much talked about nowadays on all the media.
It's all over TV as well, yes?
Yeah, you saw that as well. So this guy, Shayan Sohail, he was under debt for 5 million rupees. He had also sold his ancestral house. And one fine day, he had just a bunch of rice and a sugar, which he melted into hot water, and he ate that too. So, then there came a day where he got a funding over 2 billion rupees from a foreign fund, and now now he's going to launch his that simplified water filter, which does not need electricity. So just put it on a bottle, in front of a bottle or a house tap, or a pond water can be
turned into
drink
drinkable water
from that filter. So I think in 6 months' time, he's gonna launch it in the market.
And it's just great. And ladies and gentlemen, the sole purpose of sharing such stories is to so that you can take inspiration, so that you can learn. And all of these institutions are out there. When we talk about institutions being incapable or not having the capacity to do something for their own citizens, I think that we actually need to share all of those stories as well, where we really need to highlight, because I think that it is for the future of Pakistan as well. I mean, Ministry of Information and Technology, if they came up with this idea, it was for the people of Pakistan, and I think everybody needs to use it the best way as well.
Absolutely.
But sir, before we wrap up this segment, just one last question which I wanted to ask, and that is that whenever we see that they're venture capitalists and they're investing and they're buying shares from people's businesses who actually had the idea by themselves, and then they made sure that their business is up and running, how do you make sure that none of the venture capitalists is actually going to do a hostile takeover? How do you protect the business?
I think nobody can do this in the world.
Okay.
Let me tell you this. Because our job is that when there are different offers being made to that company, we can guide them, we can mentor them at that stage. That look, go with Shiza because she's going to take you a long way. So instead of another guy who's going to put his money, but later on he loses interest or he has some other focuses as well. So we tend to, guide them at that stage.
Okay.
But from there on,
It's their choice.
definitely they have to look after themselves.
Okay.
And no matter, even if after that they need any kind of help from us or from our experts, pool of experts,
Yeah.
we do, extend our full help to them. But, there are stages when they get independent. And these are sharp guys, by the way.
Exactly.
They don't have to be looked after much because that is the reason they have, reached that
Survived
stage.
so
Right,
far, yeah.
right.
So nobody can hoodwink them like that.
Amazing that is. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. It was wonderful having you.
Thanks.
And hats off to the Ministry of Information and Technology for all of these ventures which you've jumped into, and I think that it's going to be very beneficial for people of Pakistan.
Right,
But
most
before we go out towards a short break, ladies and gentlemen, we have this one simple segment
Okay.
where we share a picture, and you're just supposed to say whatever comes to your head when you see the picture.
Okay.
Are you ready, sir?
Yeah.
This is
Okay,
called
so
Picture
it's-
of the Day. Can we have it on the screens, please?
Let's do it. Okay, yeah, this is
Okay, I think childhood trauma stays with you for a very long time.
What about you, sir? What do you want to say?
I think he's happy about his present and future, and what he was kind of in a kind of a despair, but now future seems promising for him.
Well, that's just great, So somebody from Ignite would definitely talk about future being very successful as well. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I think what I have to say is that this is literally how depression looks like. I mean, for all of those people who have taken their lives because of the fact that they were depressed, that's the kind of thoughts they had in their heads, and that's the kind of look they had on their face. So please make sure that we do not judge people, but we really need to be of immense support for people who are actually going through mental illnesses,
Absolutely.
anxiety, and depression,
That's so
and be
true.
their support system.
That's so true. Depression has no face, absolutely. I mean, every other person around you, you don't even know, maybe they're smiling in your face, they're laughing with you at your jokes, they're probably so super depressed you don't even know what's going on in their life. So do not judge a book by its cover, first of all, and just be there. Lend your ears to them. All they want to be is to be heard, I
that's
guess.
it.
On this note, ladies and gentlemen, we're heading out to a very short break. When we come back, we have something healthy for you in store.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, okay. My time to flex. Oh, all right. Good morning.
Good morning.